Good morning, everybody. I'm excited today. I'm excited to talk to you more and more. The more and more I do this. When I first started this, I was just like, I don't like to be out in front. So, but really, it's not like out in front. I'm in front of my phone, and you guys are seeing me. So, I guess it kind of makes it a little, I don't know, a little different, a little more secure. I guess I don't know, but for the most part, for years I was writing these very long posts on Facebook, and I was like, I need to do something different. Like, what's going on? Why am I having all of this influx of information? So a lot of times, I think if we begin to pay attention to the things that happen to us repeatedly, we'll start to see patterns of change and shift as they happen in real time. That's what I was doing. But I get really, really excited to have these conversations and to talk because I guess I'm becoming more comfortable because I am doing it more consistently, and it's actually feeding me to talk to you. So most of the time when I talk about things or if I have something to say, I've dealt with it, and God is in this tea. And and thought about it, put myself in and out of the situations. But for the most part, I just, I love to delve into areas that's going to produce the type of foundation within me that is immovable. I think that I have an obsession with it. I don't know why, but maybe it's because of the way I was raised. My dad used to always tell me that you have to be a good person. You got to be a good person. You have to do the right thing. God is watching you, and I appreciate that. However, I needed to learn balance. So my new therapist, Sarah, I bring her up a lot. You should get you a Sarah. My Sarah's awesome. So she's been really, really showing me how to redirect my thinking. And what I've actually Saturday, what I came out of therapy with was, I think, really, really, really important. I begin to appreciate myself on a different level. Now, I've always thought that I had confidence, right? I'm like, oh my God, I'm confident, I'm strong, girl power. But I'm learning the older I get, this is what I'm learning, that the more you experience things, the more capacity you have to expand spiritually, emotionally, and mentally. If nothing's put into into a something that's holding you, like a balloon, if you don't put anything, you can even put air in there and it'll expand it. But whatever you put inside of a balloon, that balloon will take its weight. It will take the weight of whatever it is that you put in there. If you put water in there, it's going to be heavier. If you put air in there, it's going to be lighter. What I'm finding out is that the heavy stuff causes me to shift into a different perspective, a different emotional state, a different mental state as well. But the thing that I figured out this weekend was that I have such a deep appreciation for myself. And a lot of people will say, oh, well, that's arrogant. That's stuck up and bougie. No, it's not. It's called putting your hands into your own black earth and breaking things and moving things around. And then you put seeds of information and knowledge and wisdom in there, and it grows. You telling me you wouldn't appreciate the hard work that you did to plant a tree in your yard or to plant flowers, right? Essentially, I believe that we are all earth in a sense, spiritually. And what we experience creates traction. It can create either depth, or it could just be a wash. So it depends on the earth and how it receives whatever it the impact on it. Okay, so what? I just wrote a few notes. Just a few notes, not a whole lot. It was just like this morning. I was like, I can't take it. And this much joy, I promise, is God. It is only God. Intentionally living. man, when I started thinking about this concept, I was like, wait, what does that mean? Like, to be intentional about something, I mean to do something, to have a sort of passion or a meaning behind what you do. So intentionally living, intentionally walking throughout your day, paying attention to yourself. It's intentionally looking at how I feel, how I respond, what my body does. Because sometimes you can have stress, sometimes you can have anxiety and not even know that it's there. But you'll have tension in your neck, or you'll have like tension in your chest or in your stomach. So like if you have to make sure that you begin to cultivate the spaces that don't cause you those reactions or responses. To me, that's living intentionally, and intentionally watching your responses to people, right? Having a sense of control when a person is trying to adjust your disposition and your peace in a negative way intentionally is one of the most powerful things that you can do. So for instance, my wife, went to Wendy's a long time ago, because that's not healthy. So, but see, we went to Wendy's and we were at the front of the counter, and the lady was real nasty. She was just like real mean. I don't know why. Maybe it's girl, you having a bad day, girl? Oh my God, girl, bad. But I ignored her. I was just like, okay, girl. If you don't feed it, it'll die. That's one of my mantras. But she walked away from there, and it was the most attractive thing I have ever seen her do. She said, I don't have the energy to waste in a negative reaction to that woman. I am so far above that in my mindset that it doesn't even bother me. Let me tell you, I was ready to have a conversation. Yes, to have a conversation. No, but it was very, very attractive. I loved when she said that, because when you start to realize who and what you are and what you really mean, like we spend so much time on trying to figure out what other people mean and what they think about us, that we are distracted from actually understanding all of it through a lens of honest and pure self-awareness. Self-awareness is one of the things that I think it's not talked about enough, because knowing where you are in a situation will define the actions and perceptions of others. Because here's the thing. If you don't know where you are and who you are, you will adapt everyone else's perception and definition of you to yourself, and you become it. I refuse to do that. I really do. I refuse to do that. And that is it. When you are self-aware, it's the most potent or the strongest form of self-protection, because knowing yourself is going to make sure that you put yourself in the best positions possible. And if you're not in a good position, it's going to take you to a mind frame and a mindset that's going to be merciful to yourself. Like you've got to have mercy with yourself throughout life, period, because you're not going to do everything right. You're not going to, make the best choices at all times, but that's where the evolution comes into effect, and it is actually profitable for the spirit. It's profitable for the emotions and the mentality of a person. Mistakes are important. Mistakes are very, very important. And when we start to reverence a mistake in the right way, then we'll start to learn why those mistakes are made and how not to make them again. But again, you won't even recognize a mistake until you are self-aware. Being self-aware is very hard and it's exhausting, because you've got to be honest constantly with yourself. You got to say, yes, Michelle, you were angry. You've got to make sure that you look at it differently. And that's the thing. Sometimes I'll tell my therapist, well, that person really didn't bother me because I don't even think they know what they're doing. It is what it is. For me, that's a self-preservation mode, or that is self-preservation mode. And she's like, no, they had some responsibility in it. And I was just like, no, I can't think of it like that, or my mind is going to like explode, because I try to make sure that, I challenge myself with that. She does a very good job at that. But intentionally living. You cannot intentionally live your life. You cannot intentionally love a person if you are not self-aware. Self-awareness is key. And I think about the thoughts. I even protect myself against thoughts. This was so powerful to me because if you remember on the movie Collateral, like there's a part in Collateral where the character Will Smith plays has a set of dominoes, right? And he presses one of them or he pushes one of them and all the rest of them fall. But what I noticed is that some of the dominoes were diverted to areas where the motion stopped and some of it continued, right? So it's all in how he created the outline of it to affect his progress, right? So here's the thing. Our thoughts are they begin with one domino, right? The domino effect. This is a thought. I am something negative, right? Or I did this. I am terrible. I'll give you an example that I personally had to get through. I made a decision and I'm like, oh my God, did I make the right decision? And then I started to think about what everybody else would say about my decision. And those became the domino effect, or those were every thought was a domino and it started to circle and everything crashed, right? But what I'm learning to do is to be self-aware when a thought comes like that, to be self-aware. Maybe I did the right thing. I don't know. Did I go through the process of what I went through before? I'm like, yeah, I'm good. So essentially changing your mentality to actually sit in an idea, a thought, or a decision that you've made with the intention of being honest with yourself. It'll create a giant inside of you. It'll create a giant inside of you because you will not bend to the wisdom of other people, because the wisdom of other people and the knowledge of other people about yourself and their perception does not include your experiences. Yeah. So instead of pity, try preparation. In response, think about 911 responders, right? They are ready. They got everything they need to save a life. They got all the training that they need to make sure that they protect a person or to get a person out of trouble. You've got to be that way about your mind and your thoughts as well. You got to say, let's be prepared for this. Let's think about what this is going to do to Michelle. We're thinking this way, this thought, having these responses based off something that's not even internally yours, right? Because that's what the opinions of other people are. They're external factors. And I wrote something the other day, only God can judge intention. But when we begin to live intentionally, we are provided complete access to the audience of God. When we become honest with ourselves, when we actually, and listen, there are some people that are so far from being honest with themselves that they can't reach God because they're not worshiping in spirit and in truth. You have to be true about things. You have to be honest. And that's the thing that I always pray, God, please challenge my honesty towards myself. God, please challenge my perception of myself so that I can make sure that I see what you see, so that I can adjust accordingly. And this is the thing about God and you being honest with yourself, and you cannot not be honest with God. He sees what you're doing. He sees who you are. So why even try to put that energy towards that? That's a wasted energy. I believe that honesty with yourself is a representation of the nakedness that God created Adam and Eve in. I am myself. I am in front of you. Every time I meditate and I get to a space in prayer and meditation, I am naked at the feet of God, like especially in my dreams. It's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. I actually wrote about it in my book. But nakedness to God is that honesty. It's that posture of, yeah, I got to make sure I'm aware of what I'm doing, because once you become honest with yourself and aware of yourself, God teaches you mercy towards yourself. Yeah, Michelle, you can do that differently next time. Yep, Michelle, you can. Yep. You see what that did? You see how you felt when you did that, right? Okay, so let's think about this. What can we do not to go through that again? That's how God talks to me. That's how God responds to me. And I am able to, in turn, respond that way to other people because I'm used to hearing it and I'm used to feeling it and understanding the effects of it. But, whew, glad I got that off my chest. That was a lot. That's the stuff I wake up with. It's just like heavy like that. Like, really? It's not even 5 o'clock. God. But the power of self-awareness, or the power in self-awareness, will take you to places of peace. It has taken me to a place of peace that I can't even describe it. I feel unworthy of it, actually. But I shouldn't, because I do deserve it. Anyway, you guys have a good rest of your week. And I hope you enjoyed this little talk. Make sure you subscribe and, yeah, be safe.